Hello and welcome. You're with News 9 Live. In Indian politics, there is something called courtesies. No wonder that we are called a vibrant democracy. You could belong to opposition parties and really have a slugfest in parliament. When it comes to courtesies, well, you put everything aside and do what is really the needful. This story is exactly about that, or rather, the lack of it. Now, on Saturday, when the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, landed in Hyderabad, the Chief Minister of Telangana and BRS supremo, K Chandrashekar Rao, popularly known as KCR, chose not to receive him. Not only did KCR skip the Prime Minister's program, he also did not bother to receive Modi when the PM arrived at the Begumpet airport. This has been the fifth time since KCR has deliberately chosen, some say, not to be seen with the Prime Minister on his visits to the poll-bound state. The Prime Minister was in Telangana last week to flag off the Secunderabad-Tirupati Vande Bharat Express and launch other developmental works worth over 11,000 crores for the state. Now, during his speech, Modi clearly expressed just how pained he was at what he called the non-cooperation of state governments when it comes to centre's projects. Listen in.
मुझे एक बात के लिए बहुत पीड़ा है, बहुत दुख होता है, दर्द होता है। केंद्र के ज्यादातर प्रोजेक्ट्स में राज्य सरकार से सहयोग न मिलने के कारण हर प्रोजेक्ट में देरी हो रही है, विलंब हो रहा है। इससे नुकसान तेलंगाना के लोगों का, आप लोगों का हो रहा है। मेरा राज्य सरकार से आग्रह है कि वो विकास से जुड़े कार्यों में कोई बाधा न आने दे, विकास के कार्यों में तेजी लाएं। भाइयों और बहनों, आज के नए भारत में देशवासियों की आशाएं, आकांक्षाएं, उनके सपने पूरे करना हमारी सरकार की प्राथमिकता है। हम दिन रात मेहनत करके इसी कोशिश में जुटे हैं, लेकिन कुछ मुट्ठी भर लोग विकास के इन कार्यों से बहुत बौखलाए हुए हैं। ऐसे लोग बार भाई भतीजावाद और भ्रष्टाचार को पोषित करते रहे, उन्हें ईमानदारी से काम करने वालों से परेशानी हो रही है। ऐसे लोगों को देश के हित से, समाज के भले से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। ये लोग सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने कुनबे को फलता फूलता देखना पसंद करते हैं। हर प्रोजेक्ट में, हर इन्वेस्टमेंट में ये लोग अपने परिवार का स्वार्थ देखते हैं। तेलंगाना को ऐसे लोगों से बहुत सतर्क रहना जरूरी है। भाइयों और बहनों, भ्रष्टाचार और परिवारवाद एक दूसरे से अलग नहीं है। जहां परिवारवाद और भाई भतीजावाद होता है, वहीं से हर प्रकार का करप्शन फलना फूलना शुरू हो जाता है। परिवारवाद, वंशवाद का मूल मंत्र ही सब चीजों को कंट्रोल करना होता है। परिवारवादी हर व्यवस्था पर अपना कंट्रोल रखना चाहते हैं। उन्हें ये बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं आता कि कोई उनके कंट्रोल को चैलेंज करे.
After all, guns blazing, Modi made Modi's next pit stop to Chennai. Well, there, Chief Minister and Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam President M.K. Stalin accorded him a warm welcome. The two were seen walking together through the new integrated terminal at the Chennai International Airport. Later, both of them were seen flagging off the Chennai-Coimbatore Vande Bharat Express train. And here's what the Prime Minister expressed about Tamil Nadu.
It is always great to come to Tamil Nadu. It is the home of history and heritage. It is the land of language and literature. It is also a center of patriotism and national consciousness. Many of our leading freedom fighters were from Tamil Nadu.
You will understand what is going on.
Now, obviously, comparisons are odious, but in politics, there are comparisons made. So the point is, you saw both the speeches, right? What the one he made in Hyderabad and the one he made in Chennai. Vast difference. Now, both Stalin and KCR are politically and ideologically opposed to the BJP. That's the similarity. And the greatest similarity? Particularly towards Narendra Modi. Yet, Muka Stalin had what can only be described as courtesies to receive the Prime Minister, which is of course as per protocol. So why is it that KCR repeatedly skips Prime Minister's events or visits, especially when those events concern the development of his own state? Logical question. Why should the people of Telangana pay the price of KCR's opposition to the Prime Minister? Let's expand this discussion. Joining me on the show is, of course, my colleague Krishna Kumar, who's with me in the studio. Also joining me is PVS Murali, who's a political analyst, and also Nagesh Kumar, who is a senior journalist. A very warm welcome to both the guests. But first up, Krishna, to you.
Right.
You know, the thing is that, like I said, there is something called protocol. More important, protocol is a very officious word, as it were. But political courtesies. He is the Prime Minister of this country. And you know, Krishna, this is the 5th time that KCR has done the miss, as it were. Sometimes he goes to Bengaluru, sometimes he sends some junior minister. You may not like him, but then do you think this is even proper in a vibrant democracy like ours to keep skipping these events?
From what I understand here is that, look, they've been at loggerheads quite obviously, both Telangana and the central government, and so have Tamil Nadu. And that's the reason why you're asking the question. If somebody who's at loggerheads as you are is able to extend the courtesy, then why not you? The only way I can decode this, I can understand here is this. KCR is known to have prime ministerial ambitions at this stage. And at some stage, he would want people to start taking that seriously. And this, in a sense, is positioning him as somebody who is a leader who, considering, he considers himself as equal in stature to PM Modi. So, in that sense, he doesn't want to share a stage and at this stage as a chief minister because he seems to be having prime ministerial ambitions. That's probably one reason why he doesn't want to share the stage, so to speak. But then again, you can say MK Stalin also, with his recent social justice movement, bringing 20-odd opposition parties together, has also expressed, so to speak, his prime ministerial ambitions as well. So in that sense, the question comes back to KCR as to how come, despite everything being similar between you and MK Stalin, you have chosen to miss the prime minister's events for 5 times over. Bear in mind, and the question is being asked because this time around, you have the Prime Minister, opening so many development projects and also pinpointing the fact that it's the lack of cooperation from Telangana state government that's making sure the welfare measures don't reach the people of Telangana. And that's where the concern is. How much of this turf war between KCR and PM Modi is going to result in people of Telangana losing out, Sudha?
Very interesting point you make, Krishna. And let me take this to both PVS Murali and also to Nagesh Kumar. PVS Murali, I want to ask you this. What Krishna Kumar said, that maybe KCR sees himself as the future Prime Minister and therefore does not want to share the stage with him. But I also look at it from slightly different prism. KCR has made frontal attacks, and in Hindi, let me tell you, that's the difference here. Stalin has spoken, but in Tamil. But here KCR has even called him a Nalayak Sarkar, which means that inefficient, Do you think that this war of words is escalated to such an extent that he just feels that he will not share the stage with Prime Minister Modi?
Yeah, let's go back to the statement that you made that, what happened in Tamil Nadu is different from what happened in Hyderabad, which is true because the point there is Hyderabad, Telangana is poised for the elections this year. So obviously the environment would be a little heated up, and which is not in the case of Tamil Nadu. And of course, the base in Telangana for BJP is much stronger than what it is in Tamil Nadu, which means that he's being pally with it. And if we really look at it, 4 years back, the same language was spoken by the BJP and the Modi when everything was honky-dory with the KCR team. So having said that, in the current scenario, answering your question, I think besides the prime minister ambition, the prime ministerial ambition of KCR, I think there are several aspects of it. Because the kind of, as you rightly said, the kind of a language that is being used by KCR, and in spite of instigating so much over the period of time, Modi, whenever he came to Hyderabad, he was never addressing in singular terms, or he was never addressing in a very using any of the adjectives kind of language. But then this time he have chosen to do that. I mean, let's look at it strategically. They have put, as per the protocol, they have put a chair for KCR, which says that it's a development project. Earlier on, his visits, some of them, they said, it's because of the private visits, he was not there. But this was a developmental, purely a developmental, and he was still not there. So, as a protocol request, he was he was offered a chair, but he didn't come. That's a different issue. That was an opportunity for Modi for the first time in the last several years that he was talking a little vociferously, albeit in a camouflaged language.
Yeah, but even last time, I'm sorry to intrude in this fashion, Mr. Murali, but even last time, I mean, one of the in the past visits, he did speak about Parivarvad, about dynasty and about how there is corruption, and he said that it's synonymous with families which actually rule the state. Let me come back to you and let me get in Nagesh Kumar here. Nagesh Kumar, now Krishna, my colleague, made this point that KCR has prime ministerial ambition. Mr. Murali also said that it could be one of the reasons. Now look at it. KCR is all guns blazing, right? But Stalin has never minced his words as well. He has stood on the dais, let me tell you, and criticized the central dispensation. And the Prime Minister goes there even when the war between Governor R. and Ravi and, Stalin has really reached the levels which it never saw before. Stalin also speaks in that fashion. So you think that, the status of Stalin, somehow I feel, is not reduced just because he's courteous, because that is following the protocol and one of the traditions of Indian democracy. Would you agree?
Yes, of course. When I'll draw a parallel with our own Chief Minister N.T. Ramarao and why Stalin. When N.T. Ramarao was the Chief Minister, the Congress did its best to harass him. In fact, Indira Gandhi went to the extent of toppling him and replacing him with Narendra Bhaskar Rao. And then again, when Rajiv Gandhi succeeded her, and once they went to a village where Dalits were massacred, then there was a union minister, Mr. Shiv Shankar. So what the Dalit victims were telling Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, Mr. Shiv Shankar and others were misinterpreting because they were speaking in Telugu, which Rajiv Gandhi obviously could not understand.
Okay.
So then what happened? N.T. Ramarao protested, and then they had to call a press correspondent who knew both these languages and to serve as an interpreter.
Okay.
That was the extent to which the bitterness went. But N.T. Ramarao never went to the extent of boycotting Rajiv Gandhi, though he was the chairman of the National Front later, and he was instrumental in making 100 MPs resign from the Lok Sabha. Now, coming to the present chief minister,
Right.
it is so obvious that he has got prime ministerial ambitions. One thing many of the chief ministers in the country, I dare say, are unable to swallow is the fact that one among them, that is one among the chief ministers, has become the prime minister and is sort of dictating terms to them. And now he having floated the Bharat Rashtra Samiti, KCR, he wants to project it as a alternative.
Right.
And for that purpose, he is floating a number of schemes. Let me also tell you, just barely 3 years ago, KCR had supported several bills of the NDA government in Parliament.
True.
But then what has changed? The things that have changed is KCR now feels that his Karma Bhumi is no longer Telangana. His Karma Bhumi is now a bigger area comprising the entire country.
Right.
So to that extent, there are several other players who feel similarly.
Right.
Mamata Banerjee, Stalin, Uddhav
But
Thackeray.
my whole point is that Stalin started this of, forming this. I mean, he wrote to Mamata Banerjee. Of course, KCR Garu was also involved in this. But the point is, what will come out of it is for us to see, because, no forward movement so far has happened. But you make a very pertinent point that his Karma Bhumi is no more just Telangana. It is maybe the entire country and maybe New Delhi. P.V.S. Murali, I want to ask you that how is it helping if you look at it? Because see, look at it. Culturally, the subcontinent is a very emotional place. We really take care of what is called courtesies towards elders. You could be my enemy, but tomorrow if I have to extend a courtesy, I will have to do it, and that's appreciated. These are politicians. What does it do? What does this kind of behavior do to, for instance, KCR, and reversely, what it does to Stalin? I think Stalin really wins when it comes to this.
See, if we, as I said, if you look at it a couple of years back, prior to 21 September, everything was honky-dory because BJP needed them, KCR and KCR needed them, and there was a kind of a pally-pally kind of thing. But then, over the period of time, they know that KCR, it was obvious that BJP was getting very stronger and became a threat to KCR. The way his politics is, he doesn't like any opposition. Now, this is the first time when, whether it is in Tubaka or Hyderabad or the GHMC elections, he had to fight tooth and nail with the BJP, and each day BJP is getting stronger. Now, this is something which DMK doesn't have it. It's by and large, it's a bipolar kind of contest in Tamil Nadu. But here, this amounts to a triangular contest here, with the Congress also pitching in some of the strong areas. But then at the end of the day, for KCR, it's a do or die thing. One is he's under a lot of pressure. He's under a lot of stress. His son wants to become the CM of the state. Then his daughter has landed himself and the whole party into a kind of a trauma. And then his national ambition of becoming prime minister is something which is very obvious. Because the main portion, the main aspect why
I want to Mr. Murali, what you said about the BJP, apropos KCR and apropos Stalin, I want to ask Krishna, the thing is, although he's right, Mr. Murali is right, he says KCR and how BJP is a much stronger wicket when it comes to Telangana. But let's not forget, the BJP did not exist, the Bajaka as it's called in Tamil Nadu, did not exist in Tamil Nadu. But lately, for the past, since Modi has become the Prime Minister, it has made its presence. I don't think that the Dravidian parties, would you agree, have ever lost an opportunity to criticize them. Whether it is Hindi imposition, whether it is kind of anything, they say we are not Hindutva.
Right. I'll remember this much, that even before Prime Minister Modi, the time when L.K. Advani and Atal Bihari Vajpayee was there was a very important time for the BJP in Tamil Nadu. In fact, the statistics say that they enjoyed a greater vote share and more number of seats that they won during that time, the popularity of the BJP at that time. Because as you said, it's a straight no to, hardcore Hindutva, but there was more acceptance for the moderate Hindutva of Atal Bihari Vajpayee time and of him as a Prime Minister. Yes, right now it's a complete criticism of the BJP, the DMK, specifically speaking, it's the ruling government. It has its alliance partners set for the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha Assembly elections. MK Stalin and the DMK are on a very strong wicket when it comes to getting those 39 seats, Lok Sabha seats from Tamil Nadu. Now, BRS's KCR would also like to be on that strong wicket and make sure that every single Lok Sabha seat in Telangana goes to the BRS. Losing any one will, already it's a very small state, losing even one will be a major, loss of face for the KCR. So the only thing I can understand here is the stakes are extremely high for KCR. Bear in mind, because of also the state elections that are upon Telangana.
Right.
So double election pressure probably playing on KCR's mind.
Right. And Nagesh, I want to ask you, whenever we see that any politician, and it's become a norm now, genuflecting to the central dispensation, immediately they say, oh, they have cases against them, that's why they are being very polite. Some may say that KCR Garu is really fearless because his daughter is, allegedly involved in the excise scam. She was also called for questioning to New Delhi. Of course, she was here for a dharna and everything. Whether it is paddy procurement, whether it is this for in the case of Kavita, whether it has been numerous other cases where he said, I'm going to come and dump all the paddy in front of India Gate. That's also something KCR Garu said. Would you say that it is also giving him an image of someone who can stand up to Narendra Modi?
Not exactly, because he had to eat humble pie in that issue, in the sense that after making that threat that he would dump paddy in front of India Gate, he had to purchase all the surplus paddy that was grown in the state, and then otherwise the farmers would have revolted. The primary issue here is that he feels that he has got an alternate model of development, which he calls the Telangana model of development, under which there are schemes like the Dalit Bandhu, where a Dalit is given 10 lakhs as a grant for starting an entrepreneurship. Then Raitu Bandhu also, farmers are given 8,000 rupees an acre as grant. So he says that I am someone who is doing much better than what my counterpart in Gujarat is doing. So my model is better than the Gujarat model, or for that matter, the Delhi model. Second, he has got a clear line of succession. He feels that he is very stable in the state, number one. Number two, his line of succession also is very clear in the sense that K Chandrashekar Rao has emerged as a tech-savvy leader who can handle things in his absence. That gives him a lot of confidence to play with his with his pieces on the national chessboard. That is what he is able to do now.
Right. But you know what? There is also, let's look at both the Telugu speaking states. The criticism about Jagan is, well, he plays, sometimes he's blowing hot, sometimes he's blowing cold. Sometimes he comes here seeking an appointment and meeting with Narendra Modi. Some people say that at least in the case of KCR, he is very clear where he stands. Now, you may say he has political compulsions. But I'm saying, because see, after all, we are looking at political figures who can stand up to someone. Opposition is great for democracy. But do you think KCR is filling that role? Nagesh?
See, Jagan is playing his cards much more smartly than KCR. There have been chief ministers who have... See, let us not forget that these Telugu-speaking states, barring a short period when Rajshekhar Reddy was the chief minister and Manmohan Singh was the prime minister, we have had one party's chief minister, chief minister belonging to one party and the prime minister belonging to another party. So there was always a clash. But then with Chandrababu Naidu, there was always a working relationship.
Right.
They used to exchange words, but this sort of, boycotting each other did not exist. Now, when it comes to Jagan, Jagan is playing his cards very well. He does not oppose the Prime Minister on any ground. See, though the BJP is often accused of doing nothing whatsoever for Andhra. On the other hand, can you believe it? They are now planning to sell the Visakhapatnam steel plant.
Right.
And then who is bidding for it? Telangana, today's papers, the main banner headline was Telangana government is going to bid for purchase of the Visakhapatnam steel plant.
Right.
That is
Right.
how clearly, Jagan is playing his cards. Normally, anyone else, like say KCR, would have protested against selling the steel plant.
Yeah, but now
Jagan is keeping silent.
we are actually, yeah, maybe Jagan is a smarter politician, but I'm speaking about perceptions, Murali. We are speaking. I beg your pardon, Nagesh. We're speaking about perception. We're speaking about personalities. In this story, it has emerged that KCR did not extend the courtesies which are due to the Prime Minister of this country, which he could have, although being politically on the opposite pole completely, and whereas Stalin, being on the opposing pole, walked with the Prime Minister, smiled, and even held his hand. I wonder if that will be remembered forever. Politics or no politics. I've completely run out of time. Thank you so much, Nagesh. Thank you so much, Mr. Murali. And of course, thank you so much, Krishna. And for all the news and updates, keep watching News 9 Live.